So as of Discord's former age verification partner Persona having a huge data leak wasn't enough, there is now another AI-powered age verification tool that has had a massive data leak, that being ID Merit. ID Merit had a data breach where 1 billion records of personal data were exposed. There was an unprotected database owned by ID Merit and likely containing Know Your Customer data has spilled vast amounts of personal records across multiple countries, including the United States, Germany, France, China, Brazil, and many more. Anyone who has ever done any type of age verification with ID Merit is now under massive risk to have their information out there. Leaked data includes national IDs, full names, addresses, phone numbers, and potential telecom metadata. The United States was the most affected nation with over 203 million personal records exposed. Mexico, the Philippines, and European nations like Germany also had millions of exposed records. But it was for the kids, right? It's always for the kids, as they say with these stupid ass age verification laws. No, it was all about collecting your data, and I have no doubt that some of these data leaks are happening on purpose. An AI-powered tool used by ID Merit, a global leader in digital identity verification, so a global leader in stupidity, has exposed a staggering 1 billion personal records. The leaked details include a bunch of personally identifiable information, including full names and addresses, as well as nationally identifiable documents and phone numbers. And here is a little graphic of how many records have been exposed for now, probably will be more later, by country. So as you can see, United States was the most heavily affected with 204 million personal records being leaked. Next up is actually the Philippines with 72 million records leaked, Germany with 60 million, and then there's a bunch of countries near Europe that have had a bunch of leaks as well. So yeah, this is a huge deal. Hundreds of millions, possibly over 1 billion personal records have been leaked. And for all the age verification YouTubers and people making those tweets saying that age verification is bad, you know, we hate to say we told you so, but we told you so. For all the people who are vehemently defending age verification, saying, oh, if you don't want to give your ID, do you have something to hide? Are you a diddler? There were always people trying to make excuses for ID age verification. And they would try to paint the people who were against it as like we were like weirdos towards kids or something. What a reach. I mean, hey, I don't want my personal data leaked and I don't want to have my ID and my social security number on a database. That equals, hey, you don't care about the safety of children or you must be a danger to children. I mean, it is just like the craziest reach of all time. And something like this actually proves how dangerous it was to do this type of stuff. And they are just going to be collecting all this biometric data. I assume it'll get sold to some sort of AI model training system. And the governments around the world are all corrupt. They just want your information. And they're trying to use this guise of it's for the kids to try to justify all these invasive ass measures that they're trying to take to, oh, protect kids, you know, so go ahead and submit your ID, give us your facial scan, give us your credit card, give us the middle name of your great grandchildren that haven't been born yet. I mean, it is just crazy, dude. So exactly what personal data was leaked? So because ID Merit is an AI-powered KYC provider, the data it collects is incredibly sensitive. The unsecured 1 terabyte database didn't just leak passwords, it leaked the core personal identifiers used for your financial and digital life. The following structured data was left open for anyone to download: full names, addresses, postcodes, dates of birth, and national IDs, phone numbers, genders, email addresses, telco data, breach status, and social profile annotations. So oh my gosh, man. So what does that last one mean, right? Breach status and social profile annotations could refer to a database identifier indicating whether the data originated from a data breach or a leaked database. However, at this point, the true meaning of that data point is unclear. And that was actually only present in some regions. So basically, here are some of the things that could happen if that type of data is leaked about you, right? So, you know, at this scale, downstream risks include account takeovers, targeted phishing, credit fraud, SIM swipes, and long-tail privacy harms. Industry-wide, the case underlines how third-party identity vendors have become critical infrastructure and can become single points of catastrophic failure. And also, if it wasn't already obvious enough, identity theft is one of them too. With that type of information out there about yourself, someone can easily steal your identity, hijack all of your financial information through your banks and stuff like that. And yeah, it would just be extremely awful if people were able to get a hold of that type of information about you. So apparently this was actually exposed a few months ago on November 11th, 2025. The Cyber News researchers, shout out to them, actually immediately contacted the company, which promptly secured the database. And even though it doesn't seem like anything bad has happened as a result of the database right now, there are automated crawlers set up by threat actors constantly prowling the web for exposed instances, downloading them almost instantly once once they appear. So for this type of information to be out on the internet for months, it would be naive to believe that there aren't hackers out there or threat actors that have access to all that information now. So Cyber News estimates that there are about 3 billion records leaked spanning over 20 countries. And what surprised them is not only how large the data leak was, but how many different countries it was affecting around the world. So the US was number one with 203 million records leaked, then followed up by Mexico with 124 and the Philippines. So I actually misspoke earlier. Mexico is the one that had the second most leaked personal records. Philippines at number 3, and then the European nations, Germany, Italy, and France. So of the 3 billion exposed records, 1 billion are attributed to various countries and are likely to reveal sensitive data. Another 2 billion are likely various database logs, which are likely less sensitive, but still bad. So the researchers at Cyber News said, with all the information that's been leaked, these are prime ingredients for identity theft, SIM swapping, and social engineering attacks. And keep in mind, these whole "it's for the kids, oh, we're always going to delete your data, just trust us, bro, wink wink nudge nudge." Yeah, those are the types of people that were going ahead and defending this and trying to get your IDs from you. And look what has happened. In just a few days, there has been news that have been broken about 2 massive data leaks. For those guys who somehow haven't seen my last video, which if you haven't, definitely go give it a watch, Discord's partner, I guess they say former partner, Persona, their ID age verification vendor, they actually got exposed as well for working with the government to basically collect all of your IDs and information. And they were actually putting you on a list with risk level based on the opinions that you had against ICE. Like, for example, if you were saying bad things about ICE, they would put you at a high risk level. They would be watching everything that you do, every keystroke, everything that you were doing on Discord. Same thing with Roblox. Roblox also uses Persona. So if you were identifying your information through Persona with Roblox or Discord, they were putting you on lists. They were watching you. They were looking at everything that you do, and they have access to so much information about you just through a selfie or your ID. So yeah, to say that this is a massive data leak would be the understatement of the century. A little bit more information about ID Merit. Those scumbags are a global identity verification and fraud prevention technology, pretty ironic this, firm that provides API-based solutions for KYC, AML, and digital identity verification. As of 2025, it operates with roughly 25 to 50 employees and serves a growing global customer base. Hopefully this stops growing over here, and generating about 2.9 million in annual revenue. The company was founded in 2014 and trades as a privately held US tech provider. I'm going to assume that they generate a lot more money than that after they go ahead and utilize all the information they collect from us, and then all of a sudden there's a quote data leak, a data breach, that definitely wasn't intentional. With these ID age verification companies and just the government in general, I just can't trust a word that they say anymore, and you guys shouldn't either. These guys are such vultures, such scumbags, and all they want to do is just collect all of our information. And then they always try to hit you with the thing where they're like, it's for the kids. It's like, okay, so do parents and guardians not exist? There are still people alive who remember what life was like before social media. I'm one of them. I mean, come on now. I was growing up right when social media started getting big, and no, it's not just like, oh, right when social media happened, all of a sudden these kids are just freaking glued to their phones and stuff like that. That is a lack of parenting. That is a lack of your guardians giving a shit about you. And so the idea that we need the government to go ahead and hold your parents' hands and teach them how to be your mommy and daddy is just such a stupid thing that is going on in the world right now. And this whole "it's for the kids" push that is going on right now is being fueled by these dumb parents that don't understand what's going on here. So hopefully some parents and guardians see this video and see videos like this and see, wait, hold on. They're asking for our IDs and our age verification through, AI facial scans and stuff like that. But then this information just keeps getting leaked over and over and over again. Hopefully they can see a pattern that actually shows them that ID age verification and trying to ban social media across the world is a terrible idea, because the only way that the governments have come up to enforce it is, hand over your ID, hand over your AI facial scans. It doesn't take a freaking computer science genius, a rocket scientist, to understand how risky and invasive this type of data collection is. And look at, you can see the graphic in front of your very eyes. Like I said, shout out to everybody at Cyber News for going ahead and doing all this research. But yeah, they are just telling us what we already know, or at least the smart people in the world know, that this type of data collection and this type of biometric data harvesting that these countries and governments around the world are doing, it is just freaking crazy. We have to put a stop to this. I've mentioned NetChoice many times. NetChoice is a perfect example of an organization that is actually trying to help with the privacy and freedom of speech across the United States. And, their message is actually being spread across the world now. They're actually going ahead and challenging a bunch of ID age verification laws in a bunch of different states. And a lot of times they're actually winning. They have a campaign section over here. You can go ahead and pick any campaign you want. And then after you go ahead and pick the campaign, you can go ahead and contact your local representative. Obviously, this is only going to work in the United States for now, but just go ahead and Google ways to contact your local representatives if you don't live in the United States. Enter a zip code, find their emails, and just let them know why you disagree with ID age verification. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, they're not going to listen to us, or oh, it's not going to work. Well, I would rather try to do something and try to protect the data of all the people in the world as opposed to just sitting on our asses and doing nothing. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. There's another ID age verification leak, and of course, it is powered by AI, which sucks anyways. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.